That wraps another project. Welcome back to the channel. We're in Scarborough and we've just built a massive deck, covered porch, did a little work in the garage, did a lot of infrastructure type improvements, and we're gonna do it all here in one video. And let's show you now. So we did a few things all around the house. We focused mostly on the back, but even on the side, we put up shutters to match the front of the house, just to give a little bit more detail from the street. And here is the outdoor oasis. So what it is a covered porch, obviously. This is a African mahogany rail that I custom made. This is a cable railing system from Cable Bullet, who is a fabulous company to work with. They do all the design. You give them basically the plan for your project and they'll design the cable system for you, and it's super easy to install. I was super impressed. All the trim is AZEK. The decking Trex, the grooved kind where it has the hidden fasteners. You can see we have an LED light system that's embedded up into the trim. And it's around all surfaces, all levels, I should say. So we have it all the way around. There's a sunken portion in the middle, and then down the steps so that you can see what you're doing. Over here as well, we have taken the vinyl siding off the bottom part of the house and put cedar shakes up, just to give it sort of oceanside type feel. And what I'll do is I'll show you, I took little snippets as the project was going. All right, let's go into the Old House Redux Wayback Machine. Here's some before pics. You can see it's a sea of vinyl siding. There's the deck that came with the house. The house was built in 2018, so the deck was only a few years old. I donated the old pressure-treated railings to the Restore. Here is the beginnings of the framing of the massive deck area. It's a total area of 550 square feet, which is massive. A lot of space for entertaining. This neighborhood is full of friends of these clients, and they're over all the time, and so it'll be a good place for all the little kids in this neighborhood to hang out. There's a little playground out in front of the deck. And here's the front part of the deck, and you can see it's sunk down from the two other sections. And the beginning of the porch. And what we tried to do is match the sunroom over on the right-hand side, so there were two buildings of somewhat equal size. The porch ended up being a little bit taller. The sheathing is on the roof, and so too the trim. The trim has to go on first so that the drip edge can go out over the trim. So we get that up real quick. And look at all that Trex. It went down really nice. It's the hidden fastener kind, the grooved Trex. Works really good. And you don't see a bunch of little screw holes. Although they do have plugs for them, but you still see the plugs. So the grooved is the way to go. And looking up to the rafters inside the porch, that's where the fir ceiling will end up going, and is there now, obviously. Here's a little detail work on the Trex. I didn't want it to be a massive bowling alley of Trex all going in the same direction, but I also didn't want it to be too designy, so we just did those two little corners at a 45 just to offset all that Trex. The fir ceiling. Took a while to give that a stain. 2 coats, both sides, oil-based. It's called Australian timber oil. Love the stuff. Works great. And this is the mock-up of the beam. The door just made its first video appearance. As you saw in the montage of work earlier, this is the basement stairwell from the garage, and there was a window that was all the way down to the sill here, and we just replaced it with this awning window from Anderson. And here in the covered porch, did my trademark diamond design in the cedar shakes. Whenever cedar shakes comes up, I try to put one of those in somewhere. This ceiling here is fir. Beautiful material, not free for the most part. I mean, there might be one or two. There's going to be a ceiling fan that goes up in the center there. That's just a temporary old school basement pull chain light that I happen to have on hand. As well as there's wiring in these columns for additional lighting that will come at a later time, but is all ready to go on a switch right inside the doors to the house. Over here, this is a door. This is a door that I got from the Old House Parts Company in Kennebunk. And it was from a church in Biddeford that was remodeled into a teen activity center. And they changed all the doors out to bring it up to commercial code. You needed fire doors, etc. And we were the beneficiary of that remodel for this. And then we come in to the garage, and this was just a window here, just like this one over here at the same height. But because there are so many kids in this neighborhood, and the homeowners have kids that like to play, and they're all out on the street there, I just wanted them to have a way to get through into the garage while adults were out on the porch. So this is the way to do it. There are locking options for pocket doors, and so that locks it and unlocks. So there are a couple things left to do over here. I'm bringing these back to my shop. This is also the African mahogany that I used to make the railings. In fact, that's what it looked like before I cut them into railings. And so I just need to surface plane those, butt them together like that, make them nice and smooth, and that's what's going to go on top of these smaller columns right here. Also, I'll come back to install the ceiling fan when that is ready to go. And the other thing that I'll have to come back and do is on these bottom rows, they have different fasteners for different depths. And these are the XXLs, which means you're going through a piece of trim to the post. I actually needed the XXXL for the bottom row. So that's why this is tight, this is a little loose. So I have those on order. I just need to replace these bottom fasteners, and we'll get those nice and tight like the rest of it. So that is the outdoor oasis that I've been working on for the last 7 weeks, and it is near completion. I would say 98% done. The rest of it I'm doing in the shop. As far as the post caps, I just didn't feel like bringing my surface planer out to the job site, so we'll do that at the shop. And other than that, it is pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy with it. So the next project I'll do a little bit more filming on. We're back to an old house. We're back to total curb appeal. It's right on the street. It's a porch that's a pretty big disaster, and there's a pretty big rigmarole I had to go through to get it done, but we're starting it next week, and I'll bring you along with me. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.